Good morning, everyone. Namaskaram, Shubhodayam. Thank you for joining the Rotary Club of Silicon Andhra's workshops here, the mindfulness workshops by our yoga guru Manoj Joshi ji. It is a series of 8 seminars. We have completed 6 of them, and today is the 7th one. We have one more next week. So thank you all for joining in and making yoga a part of your life for a better health and better happy communities all around us. So Manojji, thank you, sir, for helping us with all these classes and this knowledge. It's immense, and I would only request everybody to kindly take this as the way of life. And also one more thing, I know Manojji wouldn't want to speak about this, but I want to say it. Manojji is starting a special session for youth and teenage kids who are in middle school and high schools, how to manage their stress through yoga. And again, it's a 8 series primarily catered to the school kids. So that is starting from this week. So anybody if interested, either in your families or somebody that please spread the word and let them take advantage of these courses. So I like these classes so much. I put both of my kids, I know who are there right now on this thing also. So they are going to be attending this teenage yoga sessions. And I know anything that they are going to learn through this, it will stay with them for the rest of their life, and then even for future generations through them to their kids and beyond. So that is the intent. And Manojji, thank you again for helping the communities and people understand some of these things, and then make minor changes to their lives for a better days ahead. Thank you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much, Rajuji. I must say that, your generosity, your a kind of a good compassionate leadership, what I call a conscious leadership, is the need of the hour. The world needs more leaders like you, and no wonder, why you have touched 60,000 families over these last 14 years. That's great. Congratulations to all your venture that you're doing. I know you're involved in multiple things. So may all those things fructify and then show the flowers and bloom forever. Thank you very much. So we'll start the class today. Good. I believe this is the right one. So good. So mindfulness, your health is in your hands, right? Whenever we look at our hands in the morning, when you wake up, this reinstates the confidence that yes, everything is in my hands. If you go to a palmist, he will see the whole planet, the entire universe in your palm. And then based on that, he will predict your future. So without going to a palmist, we all know that a lot of things can be done with our hands. That's the confidence, that's the willpower that we all have. So let's begin. So today is the 7th week. As we talked about, mindfulness is the key to manage stress, anxiety, and depression. This is the key title, just like in a movie that you see, after the movie is run for several minutes, then you see the casting, like the title of the movie, the hero's names and heroine's name come. So likewise, even the mindfulness in action is the title of our course. So today is the thing that we'll talk about, what is mindfulness and how we can integrate the mindfulness and yoga together, and of course into our life, and how we can make it a regular practice, ongoing practice, every moment practice. As usual, let's start with a prayer that will seek protection from the Mother Universe. Let this practice be fruitful and enlightening, and may there be peace in everybody's minds and hearts. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvisavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mindfulness is the key to manage stress, anxiety, and depression. That's the topic today. So as usual, let's have an activity. So may I ask you, when was the last time that you were stressed? And how do you describe your emotions and feelings? And what did you do to overcome that? So your answers should be in 3 pairs, maybe in 1 sentence or in 3 paragraphs or 3 sentences or 3 words that you can say. So let's take 1 or 2 minutes break, and then please put your answers in the chat box so that we can just evaluate. So when was the last time you were stressed? How would you describe your emotions and feelings? What did you feel? How did you express that? And what did you do to cope with that? So when was the last time you felt the stress? How did you express it? What happened inside you? And then, yes, anger, frustration, worries. Good. A lot of people are doing Sudarshan Kriya. That's good. That's a wonderful breathing technique. Right? We pray. Definitely, that's a good way to cope with the stress. Good. Worries and meditation could help. Bereavement can cause a lot of stress when we lose someone in our life. Somebody's felt, Umaji felt stress just 5 minutes back. And she overcame with pranayama. That's good. Good. I think we got a good snapshot of how people feel stress, and we'll continue. I've been following a lot of internet teachers and a lot of professors have been talking about. So on and whole, overall, like people have enumerated there are 8 different categories of stress that we go through normally. So first one is of course like the finance, like if you don't have enough money to pay the bill, or we have enough don't have enough bank balance, or all the things that can cause a lot of stress. And particularly right now in the COVID-19 situation, most likely America and all over the world definitely will be going through a lot of financial stress. The second one is of course relationship is a big stressor. A lot of people don't have the right tools and technique to mend the heart together, to bring that bonding, to bring that love, compassion that a true human nature is. But unfortunately, different kind of things happens in our life and we suffer because of relationship issues. That is a good stressor. Third one, of course, children of, we call it bundle of joy, but sometimes as they grow up, and when they grow up, obviously like there are a lot of stress that they can bring in home. We all know that. Of course, business and career, that could be another stressor. All the time we're thinking about how to grow our business, how to improve in our career. All these things could be a stressor. Health could be always, not only our own health, but health of others in the family. So whenever we break down health, whenever we have some disease and sickness, we fight with that, and that could cause a lot of stress. Next one is all the big external stuff like politics, climate change, big technological revolutions. All those things can bring a lot of change. Geopolitics, financial economics, depression of the economy. All the things can create a lot of stress in our individual life also. Of course, too much of to do, but not enough having time. We always have that stress. There are so many things that we engage into, but finally at the end of the day we feel frustrated, like we couldn't do enough. So too much to do, not having enough time could be another stressor. And finally we talk about, I'm not where I want to be. Always thinking about like comparing ourselves with others. That could be also stressor. Now let's talk about, when you think about anything that happens in our life, there is always more than one story. As Professor Sri Kumar Rao puts it, everything that happens, that's not just the reality, it's one of the realities. For example, just imagine a situation where you're driving to a very important appointment and you're already getting late, and there is a big traffic jam. And suppose add out one more stressor, it's very hot, all around fire, and there is no air conditioner in your car, that's broken. So in that situation, somebody just cuts you off the car, just barely escapes an accident. So what will be your reaction? Obviously, at least calmness and love will not be there in your heart if you can just make it very humble. Suppose after some time, somebody gives you an information that that person who cuts you off was rushing because he just got the notice, he just got the text that his son, only son, is meeting with an, has met with a terrible accident, and he was just about to be operated, and he is not sure whether he will see him for the last time or not. After knowing that information, I'm sure you'll feel your anger and frustration will melt down a little bit. Probably it will be replaced with more calmness and compassion. Suppose, let's go a little further. It's an interesting way to express. Now you want to go a little deeper into that, and then you identify one very expert detective agency and really find out whether that person was really a jerk or he was really a helpless father. And suppose the detective agent said, like, he was just, very careless driver. Of course, your anger will go up at that moment. And suppose the detective agent tells you, like, it was a fact, like, his son was dying and he was a helpless father, then probably you will be more compassionate. Now, knowing the fact that situation is whatever, either this way or that way, you have a choice to make. And meanwhile, like, when you don't know the actual story, you're neutral, right? So whether to be angry or frustrated, or to be neutral, or to be calm and peaceful, that's the choice that we have to make. So we have a choice in any situation. Whether we know the real story or not, life is not all the time black and white. There is always grayness. So if we just allow that the universe as the higher self knows everything what's happening, and then step back and then just relax with, take a couple of breaths, make a choice that I'm not going to add more fuel to the fire of stress in the world. Rather, I will calm it down and I'll pacify the stress in myself alone. So when you learn this technique, this will be really powerful. This is what mindfulness is all about. What is mindfulness? Being present at the moment. Just in this case, like, you're present in the moment. You're experiencing the heat a little bit, you're experiencing the traffic, you're experiencing, because those situations also do not come all the time in our life. Maybe a couple of times in a year, a couple of times in our life. So that is also an experience that to go through. Maybe your experience is something that you would like to improve your patience. It's a challenge to improve your other faculties of the mind, to calmness practice, maybe practice some breathing techniques. So being present in the moment is the first criteria of being mindful. The second one is, of course, paying attention to what's happening. Like, most of the time we are in the rat race, and then we don't have the time or patience to enjoy the beauty of a beautiful rose that you come across. So paying attention to what's happening, knowing about, being a little bit more interested in things that is happening. Most of the time we don't even know that our feet are touching the ground, or hands clasping, or what clothes we wear, or what food that we eat. We almost like a mechanized way, or like a robotic life. The third aspect of mindfulness is being non-judgmental and non-reactive. Most of the time we have an opinionated mindset. You remember the first time we talked about how to awaken your inner coach? In that movie, we talked about most of the time we are opinionated. So when you become mindful about this aspect of our being as a human being, most of the time we carry on the past experience that has happened in a similar situation. Our brain is constantly feeding that our conscious mind. Last time we learned about the power of conscious mind, subconscious mind, and how the subconscious mind is constantly feeding a particular way to react in a situation. So if you become mindful about that, if you become mindful about the subconscious mind, the stuff that is there, or the conscious mind, how it's taking it from there, again, you can make a choice whether you want to react or you want to respond. And of course, having a attitude of curiosity, that is also another trait of mindfulness. So when you become mindful, you have to inculcate this habit of accepting attitude, accept whatever is happening. Like sometimes we ask questions. Mostly those questions are not open-ended. Most of the questions will not have answer to it. It's almost create an infinite loop. Like a question that you ask a computer, it goes in and in all the way. It doesn't find any response, and it drains out all the energy. And sometimes we ask such kind of questions to our own mind that doesn't have any answer. Even God will not be able to answer that question to you. So sometimes we have to really have another bucket that, unresolved questions. We don't have to really waste too much of time if we don't have an easy answer to some questions. Rather become curious about it and turn into a positive experience of asking something nice and open-ended question so that you can have something meaningful coming out of your mind. So with this little introduction about mindfulness, let's just watch this 2 minutes of video, which will create a different kind of expression about mindfulness, and you'll know about what mindfulness entails about. Good. So you found it, like how being mindful, how paying attention to our own self can turn an annoying bee into a beautiful petal. It's all in our mind. So as I was relating to all the time, we asked this question, why did it happen to me? I remember the story that I talked about, like how that person was having a problem with a flat tire and how he was all the time thinking about the problem. And a farmer came and then found the solution because he was solution minded. So most of the time we ask this question, like, why did it happen to me? In the same example, like when you go to an interview and then suppose you get a flat tire, you always ask this question, why did it happen to me right now? Oh God, like everybody's going so smoothly with beautiful cars, and why did it happen to me at this particular time? We have all the time in a self-denial mode expressed that frustration for half an hour or to maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And then finally it dawns into our mind that, why am I worrying about this one? Maybe I can call my insurance agency and then they will come and then fix it. So most of the time we delay 1 hour, 2 hours, sometimes the entire life in asking this question, why, for which there is no answer. Rather than that, if you choose to be mindful and then try to ask another question, how can I overcome this? So whenever we ask this why question, most of the time our left brain gets engaged logically, pointing out all this externally in the objective world. But when you turn into the how in an empowering way, and it turns the right brain, subconscious mind, and it will give you wonderful information about how you can overcome that, why it is happening. So all those different aspects of mindfulness will automatically come in when you switch by making a conscious choice from why to how. That's why some people say when the nature or universe has given you a question, stretch it a little bit more to make that question mark an exclamatory sign. Wow, it has happened to me. What is there for me to learn from here? How do I make it as a lesson in my life? How do I move forward with that? So this gap between the situation that happens and the response that we choose, sometimes it could be instantaneous, sometimes it could be long time. And that is why people get frustrations, stressed out, panic attacks happens, depression happens. If you do not know to find a solution by switching over this, making this conscious choice. So this gap is a matter of our practice. So if you practice mindfulness, yoga, practice observing life as it is with a curious mindset, with an accepting attitude, not being too judgmental or opinionated, not being too reactive, but responding to the challenges that the life offers. Take it as a lesson to learn and then move forward with that, so that the gap becomes minimized slow and slowly. So whenever you experience some difficulties in your life, like pain, say for example, or somebody who is nagging at your life, or somebody, so the more you resist to that, it will persist. That's a very law of universal stress management technique. Resistance can cause persistence. So in an example I gave in a real class, like if I'm standing and then you imagine like you pushing me with a lot of power, so I'm resisting to it. So the more I resist, the more you persist because you want to win over me. But suppose I want to yield that, like I will not resist to your pushing, but I will accept it, I will yield it. So then you push a little bit more, like 2 steps, I go back, and then you come 2 steps forward and you push me again. I again yield. I push back 3 steps, and then you also come back, come forward 3 steps. So if it goes on like more, not more than 4 or 5 times, and after that, the person who is pushing you will find no pleasure. Hey, this person is not resisting. There is no fun in playing with this person. And the same thing happens to the problem. The problem, if you resist to it all the time, the problem feels, wow, this person is the right ground to persist on. So that, the nature of the problem will become more joyful because he finds the prey who can be more annoyed with the problem situation comes. Because suppose you accept that problem and then don't resist to it, this will go away because your mind will shift to another area of work where you can turn in your right side of the brain, and the left side of the brain, the logical mind, will not be able to make you more stressed out. So as you practice more and more of this accepting attitude, not to resist, then slowly our strategy of being reactive will be replaced with being responsive. So respond, not react, is another way that we can practice mindfulness. Because every time that we resist, it reduces the prana, the life force that we have. So instead of using that to heal or to find a creative solution to the problem we have, we always be in that self-denial mode. And that is a sure shot of reduction of the prana or the life force that we have. On the other hand, if we accept the problem and try to do something about it by asking some empowering question, as I said, from why to how, then of course the prana will be conserved, and the prana or the life force will be engaged, utilized in the proper way, so that we can find the creative solution to the problem that we are facing. We have already talked about this model of the yoga, the Pancha Kosha. Most of the time, we're in the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, 99% of our life. And that is where all this stress, anxiety, depression, and all these things happen to our body level, physical level. But as we practice more and more, we slowly transcend from the gross physical body to the blissful body, Anandamaya Kosha. We have already talked about the role of yoga, the stretching, breathing techniques, the role of diet also. Everything that we talked about automatically leads us from the gross physical body to the subtle blissful body. So mindfulness also can be another technology, another tool to help us to move from the gross to the subtle, from the body to the bliss. So now we'll engage into a meditation. Life is a game, play it well. So let's sit down quietly, keep your eyes gently closed, and just relax for some time. Very slowly breathe in. And as you breathe out, you let go. Just like we are in the physical body consciousness, try to become aware of your body. Try to become aware of the surrounding. There could be different noises coming to you. Just like the flea in that experience of the samurai. So instead of just taking your sword and cutting them out, just try to accept. Rather recondition your mind that every noise that is coming towards me, instead of creating an annoyance in my mind, it is causing more peace and calmness. It's pushing me towards my Anandamaya Kosha. So there is no resistance, only acceptance. Try to be aware of your physical body, whatever size and shape that you are in. That's a wonderful body who has been there with you all the time. It's just like a dress that we wear. There's only one layer of our being through which we experience life. Sometimes, just like a cloth will get torn out, sometimes there could be problem with this layer of our being. So let's accept our body as it is. And rather be grateful about this body, that we have eyes to see things, we have ears to hear, we have nose to smell, we have mouth to taste things, and we have our skin to touch and experience life. So let's be grateful for this Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, and all the appliances, amenities, different technology, everything that we have surrounding us. Let's try to find out a few more things to be grateful about, and let's spend a few more moments in gratitude. Now think about people around you in your life and try to feel an urge to appreciate someone. And try to feel the reaction, how that person feels when you genuinely appreciate someone. Just like someone genuinely appreciates you, a similar feeling at least you can expect. The person will feel good about life. You might have appreciated different objects in your life, different things that has happened in your life. A sincere appreciation can make a lot of happiness, and it's a good way to release the stress by just genuinely taking interest in other people around and find a unique way to appreciate a specific thing that you really care about, or you really find something unique and that touches the heart, something someone might have appreciated long time ago in your life, and you still remember that about your look, about your action. We did something spectacular and somebody took special time to identify that and express it so well that it has been there in your heart for all these days. And of course, we have to be mindful about everything. As we just learned, mindfulness means being present in the moment, here and now, not in the past, not in the future, right here and now. Being non-judgmental, being non-reactive, choosing to respond to life's challenges with an accepting attitude, with a curious mindset, the ability to ask questions, open-ended, empowering way to find creative solution from why to how, from self-denial to self-empowerment to self-awareness, from anger and frustration to sheer presence and compassion, knowing that it's not just one story that we see is the real thing. There could be many layers of stories behind something. And also, you have to learn how to expect positive returns of what we do. By investing in the process itself, will increase the chance of making things the way that we want it. And as a part of that, we have to expect, we have to use some energy, some prana to create a positive expectation. Just like a farmer would sow the seeds on the ground and would naturally expect that trees will come out of those seeds. And he will rather go ahead and plan for the harvesting necessities. Just like a mother would expect a child to be born, So being grateful for everything that is there with us here and now, developing a habit of appreciating one another, staying mindful with all its traits, being present in the moment, paying attention to everything in a non-judgmental, non-reactive, with an accepting attitude and with a curious mindset. And giving the complete self in doing everything with full focus. And expect positive returns. And even if it doesn't come the way that we expect, accept it again, that something else will come. And that's the game of life. G for gratitude, A for appreciation, M for mindfulness, and E for expecting positive returns. And everything that happens in a life is just like this game. If you apply this simple rule of this game, we will play it well, we'll minimize our stress and maximize our bliss. Now slowly, gently, please open your eyes. It is a short meditation. So good. Thank you very much for taking your time. I know these sessions are very short. We usually take longer time to experience everything in a normal physical way, but it's a virtual world and we've been slowly getting adjusted to this. So right now, I would like to also request you to be able to give me some feedback. So I'm going to put back this link in the chat so that you can take some time after this class and then give me some feedback about this class, how it is going.
Manoj, can I say something, sir?
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And I was actually going to have prepared, Sonia ji has prepared a survey.
Okay.
And we wanted to send, once this session is over, we wanted to send, to everybody who has participated, even at least one of these sessions, to
Right.
see what they would say. And I would collect that information and send it to you. Yeah, this is also okay.
Right.
We were planning to do that anyway, sir. So we
Correct.
will
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
anyway.
So we can collect information and find out what comes. Maybe
Sure, sir. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, that's good. So I would now open up some question answer because this is a big topic, and I think I'll rather make it a little bit more interactive right now. And if you can ask some questions, and if you ask certain aspects of this topic that we talked about, mindfulness, and how the applied aspect of yoga and mindfulness can help us to minimize our stress and maximize our bliss. So please, unmute yourself and then speak up a few things, share your experience. Let's make it a little bit more interactive.
I would request Surinder ji, who has been, one of the participants through all these sessions, to share anything, sir. Surinder ji.
Well, I think I have enjoyed all the sessions and I have learned a lot. But I can tell from my prior experience and now combining it with what I learned here, I see that what we are offered is a condensation of a lot of knowledge that can come only through deep studies and actual practice. So I feel very grateful to Manoj and those who organized this. Some of the things which I have learned, I have already made part of my life. So the value of all learning is if we can apply. And here I found just things which you could pick up and make it part of your everyday routine. So it's like this is how you live your life. And I am blessed. I am able to learn this, use it, and stay calm, peaceful, responsive, and not reactive. So I am very pleased with what you guys did. And I hope that I will be in touch with Manoj for life, the rest of my life.
Thank you so much, Surinder ji. You have so well expressed everything. So succinctly have expressed your feelings about mindfulness and yoga and all. It's definitely the right way to say it, the condensation of all the knowledge, because this knowledge is very important and powerful. And if we just empower ourselves with any tiny bit of this knowledge, it can always lead us to that. I would, yeah, please go ahead. And then I wanted to have the last slide also in that respect, because so if you look at, where is the slide? So yeah,
At the bottom, sir, at the bottom you have it.
right. The slide mode is not coming because the bubbling things comes up here.
If you go below, all the way to the bottom, sir, there is a screen-like thing.
No, the slideshow mode. So that bubbles was not coming up. So good. So right now, what's happening is like we'll come up with that happiness course, of course, like towards the end of it. So I think that's it. Like for the next course, we talk about more things. But let's come back again. Tell us a little bit more about if you have any questions about how to really practice mindfulness and how to really reduce the stress, because knowledge is one thing, as Surinder just said, like if you don't know how to apply this knowledge into real life, and of course, like we all know so many things, but still we suffer, still we go through stress, anxiety. So there could be many different tricks that you individually might have practiced in your personal life. So if you'd like to share a few things that has worked in your life, maybe we can add those things into a collective experience of how to minimize stress and how to maximize lives, please.
Manojji, this is Shita.
Hi.
I think I've met you in a different setting with Gayatri.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
For dance. But I'm happy that I was able to join and be part of this class. And one of the things that I try is writing or journaling. And in fact, when I started doing your class, then I started doing it more often than I was in the past, because it kind of forces me to be mindful in my writing. And I definitely have made what you said sort of a mantra about I want to be completely,
truly happy and
completely healthy, and overcome some of those shortcomings that I have. But and live, learn, and grow. And right. I think this class has helped me to grow.
Thank you very much, Shitalji.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Manojji, I have a question. This is Sita.
Hi.
So thank you. It was Very good. I mean, I do like what you said about respond and not react, right? I mean, always,
Right.
it's very important. That's a very good lesson, and thank you for that. We'll make sure we practice it. It's not
Sure.
going to be easy, but we'll definitely
Right.
try.
Right.
One of the things that I find a bit difficult is to hold my thoughts, right? Like just like the flies in the
Right.
samurai video. So how
Mhm.
you can achieve that? I mean, I try looking at my third eye here, and yes, and for a while I'm fine. But again, everything goes on, and even if I live in the present, something or the other is happening in the present. So any tips there would be really appreciated.
Yeah, I think we have talked about a little bit about like breath awareness, because something that is going on all the time. Because most of the time, like, when you look at something which has got some kind of memories in your life, all those memories will come back, like in general. So we have to learn the practice of how to look at something or think about something which is very neutral. So from that point of view, breath becomes very handy. Like if you start building up a habit of practicing 5 minutes here and there, just watching the breath. So the monkey mind is always in a tendency to move and jump from tree to tree. So you have to tame the monkey by putting a leash on its neck. So if mind is the monkey, thoughts are like the tendency of the monkey, it will jump. So the awareness of the breath could be like a leash on this neck, and slowly, gently, you start practicing becoming aware of that leash on the monkey's neck. You'll see that the mind will come back again to the thought, come back again to the thought, come back again to the thought. It will not go all the way out. It will not be out of control. You know that there is a particular boundary through which the thoughts move. Maybe around your work that you do, it doesn't go tangent of 10 years ago, 20 years ago in your life or something in the future. Like it doesn't go in tangent. So slowly, if you practice that awareness of the breath. And the other thing that I have practiced is surrender to a higher cause. Like whatever you're doing it, just dedicate that practice for something that you believe in. Like, everybody, one way or other, we have got certain higher aspects of our being, whether you call it God or a higher self or a universe or nature or somebody that you really think like that's a power that you would like to dedicate this, right? Say, for example, dedicate to your family. Something that you're doing it will definitely make good contribution to my family, my children, my husband, my wife, my ancestors. So if you think about a small circle like that and then try to dedicate everything that you do, all the stakeholders in our life, then obviously it will bring a little bit more seriousness of what we're doing. So we'll not be, rather, if I can use the word, irresponsible of not focusing on that particular thing that you're doing, and rather, distracting it, and then not putting the prana into that, not creating something out of the world, best experience, then we are diluting that fact. So when we think about, there is always a deeper connection of what we do to the outer world, like that altruistic motivation, which we'll going to talk about the next class, like what happiness entails about, and what are the different ways that we can enhance the quality of our happiness. So when you think about that happiness aspect and think about the little subtle aspect of how it connects to the world, and try to surrender to that higher self and dedicate to that, automatically you will see, like, you are released from those extraneous thoughts which are bothering you. Rather, you'll be focused on what you do, enjoy what you do. Because see, with love what you do, the focus will automatically come. Like if you look at the children, how engrossed they are when they play a video game. You don't go in and tell them like, no, hey, please focus your mind while you're playing the game, right? Naturally, they love it so much that they're automatically focused. So when you learn how to love everything that what we do, the mind will get focused into that. It's like that energy that we have to conserve and then use it the best way possible in whatever we are engaged into. So if you just think about loving what you do, being present in the moment with your breath awareness, and then surrendering to the higher self, and then seeing the beauty of this work, helping other people, you might be able to rather focus your mind more into the job that you do rather than allowing it to get distracted by like a monkey without leash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manoj ji. It is really, really amazing and learning a lot in this. And it was interesting you mentioned about gratitude. That is one thing which is helping me a lot during times of difficulty. What I do at times when I just can't sleep or anything is focus on the breathing, like you said. I do short versions of Sudarshan Kriya or just normal breathing, like you say, being aware of it. And when things, when my thoughts go off, I keep that gratitude towards, maybe it may be a person or a situation I had been in the past where things, people had helped me out. So it could be an individual, it could be something when I focus on them and visualize that situation, and also at the same time look at the breathing. That has completely taken me. I mean, within seconds, I go to sleep, or I feel so peaceful after that and do things. So that's really amazing how things work out. And thank you very much for imparting all this knowledge to us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So I have a request to make of all of you. I would send an email to all of you with the flyer that Manoj ji is, information about the session for teenagers and then, youth. So, if you can take that flyer and maybe, put it on, any of your WhatsApp groups where you think some of the kids can benefit from it, especially for high school kids, in this time of uncertainty, when they are in, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grades, they don't know what kind of process college preparation they need to go through. And a lot of universities not taking SAT, ACT scores this time. It's completely in dark. It's somewhat of a helplessness situation for them. In those cases, for them to give something like this to help them deal with, the stress and then, the anxiety, and then, how to bring them back and then, motivate them to do better in with what they have in their control. I think that will go a long way in their future. So don't take this as anything that we are trying to market or anything. You would be helping the people that you would share that flyer with. So I would send that sometime later, this afternoon, and please spread the word, and let's see. We don't have to force anybody to take this up, but once they know that something like this happening, if they take advantage of it, that's wonderful. It's very good for them. So with that, Manoj ji, we have just one more minute. Your closing thoughts, and I want to thank Sim Gopalan Garu and Sonia Sidhu ji, both of them who are leaders of our community services track of Rotary Club of Silkanandra, for bringing this wonderful 8 sessions. So we have one more session next week, and then so please come back and support this. And Sim Garu, thank you, sir. Sonia ji is not here on the call today because of her prior commitment, but extend our gratitude to her too, and we look forward to seeing you next week again. Manoj ji.
I'll just add two more things. Like here is, I think studies have found that up to age of 7 or 8, like whatever that we learn in our life, that is very that builds a foundation in our life. A lot of times, whatever that goes in, because our brain development happens only the first few years of our life, starting from the garbhavastha or the fetus state, and then goes up to 3 years, and after 3, 7, and 8, when you interact with the society, all these things, learning happens at that time. So I've been more encouraged to give this kind of techniques of mindfulness and yoga and all these things to even school at children at elementary class. That's why if this course is up to 12 years age, like there are different ways that we teach them. And then of course, like in the teenagers, like a lot of times I've seen many of my friends, like we rather become more afraid of our children. Like, we don't know how to talk to them. They don't listen sometimes. And then, we don't know where to push and where to stop. So sometimes when I address my children to somebody else, like an uncle or an auntie, my child may be responding better. So somewhere or other, like I tell them, like, okay, give me just 10 minutes with your child, and then maybe let me talk to them in whatever way, nothing to lose, right? So maybe I can convince them, like, this is for their benefit. Because sometimes, like, when we are in that process, probably we are not having that, that's the nature, like, children don't listen to parents because where they're growing. Of course, the subconscious mind is listening to them, but they will deny that in the conscious state of mind. So sometimes it helps a lot of ways. Then we introduce someone else for 5-10 minutes. That changes the perspective, and then maybe they would be more willing to build a stronger foundations into their own life. Because look at the world is changing so much, so fast. Technology is taking us away. All these things, definitely we have to be stronger with our roots. And that is the whole concept behind why Silicon Andhra is so particular about teaching language, Telugu language to their children, because children can connect to that. That is build a stronger foundation in their life. And that is why 60,000 families or whatever that we know are so much interested to build a foundation for their children. So similarly, yoga is also a language to understand life. So if we inculcate this habit of yoga, understanding the pancha kosha, understanding the pancha prana, understanding the pancha bhuta, all the different things coming from our own heritage for thousands of years, and I strongly believe that it is a strong connection with our future. So as a particular generation in the Silicon Valley, Bay Area, being Indian, I think we have a moral responsibility to hold this culture, to transfer this heritage to our youngsters, to our generation. That is why it is so important to take interest in spreading these words in whatever way that is possible, to learn something spectacular, build a foundation so that they can later part of their life use that to build emotional relationship with their spouses, with their children, be a good parent, and then transfer this. Otherwise, like all this objective knowledge will keep coming, like nothing that we're going to study right now will be ever in our mind, because every day things are changing. So the physical or the material science that you're learning is always will be there. So along with that, if we can take some time to build an appreciation for the spiritual knowledge, just like a bird having two wings to soar higher into the life, so we'll be more balanced into our life, and then we can deal with more stress, worries, anxiety, disease, sickness, whatever comes into our life in a more sustainable, in a more organic way. That's why yoga is very important, not just because we're promoting something good, that yoga should be practiced with us all the time as a lifestyle. That will definitely create a society which is much stronger. And our dream is to create Silicon Valley as an epitome of not only the technology, but also a good, healthy condition. Everybody in the Silicon Valley should be as healthy as possible, as happy as possible, so that they can create wonderful technology to transform the world from now and beyond. Thank you very much for being a part of this experience. And it is a great experience that I'm enjoying, having so many enlightened people like you being a part of this course. And we all have to go a long way. Thank you very much, Rajuji. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you all, the Silicon Andhrites, the Rotarians of the world. So we will together make a wonderful world in this life itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.